Kalamazoo Tower, Cessna, November 69er 47 Echo ready at runway 35 departure to the west.
Alright, that took a lot longer to get set up than I was hoping for. But welcome everyone. Nice to see everyone tag along. Welcome to Kalamazoo, Michigan. Hope everyone is well on this Thursday. We're but one more day closer to the weekend. Gonna make a nice little flight over to Oshkosh. Because why not? The world center of General Aviation. Got some people to greet here. We have Dangerous Brian. Hope you're well. We have Catbat, who says they'll be a bit late because of the update. So I was not expecting it until Saturday, but Huzzah, it came early, so yay. I'm all set up and ready to go. Scotland 737 project is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're well. I'm doing pretty good myself. We have Western Operators. Welcome back. Been a while. We have Allison Johnson. How are you this fine evening? Got War Hamster in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, let's hope your update goes smoothly. Mine went fairly well, so I can't complain about that. That's good to hear. So this is Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport. One might call this my home center of flying. We have some of the buildings are a bit off of what they should be, but that's okay. We have over here, I'm pretty sure you can see the cursor. Over here we have the Kalamazoo Air Zoo, or the Kalamazoo Aviation History Museum. I grew up when it was this building, just this building over here. Down here we have a bowling alley and activity center. They have go-kart racing, mini golf, other exciting things. This is a McDonald's. This is a little bit of a strip mall. The control tower's over here. Not seeing anything on YouTube. Okay, good. So, this is, down here would be Duncan Aviation. They're one of the FBOs. And right over here is where my grandpa kept his air. Call this area the South T. So, let's get this show on the road since I was Lady McLatePants today. We have ourselves another 172. Not sure what that is. It's probably a Mooney. So we are going to quick check the weather. So if we do winds are 010 at 12 knots, gusting to 18. So we want runway 17. Take runway 17. That'll give us a crosswind. Yeah, if you're in a 172, that is weird. So we check our Navigraph. Go. Charts. Taxi. We probably want runway 9. Or 010. Runway 5, excuse me. So, runway 5 is going to be right here. Whoever's in the airline, if you're watching the stream, find something closer to a Cessna 172 or Mooney. because you're going to be on a number of levels not kosher with the flight. So we're going to get inside the cockpit here. Make sure the old parking brake's set. Make sure that that's trim set. That's good. Mixture goes to full. Throttle goes to cracked. Master beacon. And Sim decided to freeze. I think. Huh. There is a sim crash. So we're going to load up again. Let me double check to see if I've got any Windows updates. I did some Windows update before installing the patch, so I hypothetically should be fine. Nope, security intelligence update. What in the world? Yeah, I'm not spending time to do all that on stream. If this is the first time that I've had a crash, I'm not going to call that a stability issue yet. Not first time since the update that it's done that. Usually pretty stable. Especially with the generic models on. His gremlins do have a tendency to follow me. I do like not having the press any key to start anymore. That's a nice change. Because it really served no purpose to have it there in the first place. So having it, you're just talking about the stupid Logitech thing that I need to uninstall because I don't use the panels anymore. And I was talking to Windows. I don't like that. There we go. Hmm. You've got to be stupid thing. Better. Bye. See how it works this time round. I mean, we'll see. My FPS weren't too bad. And in a lot of fairness, that was the first, that was my first CTD, because that was also the first time I loaded in to the airport or into the actually the plane. Okay, take two. That trim. That's it. That's it. Beacon. Clear prop. No. I've played around with the settings enough to where I've found a sweet spot that works for me. But we can only hope that it does bring in some FPS improvements. Conics on. Transponder on. Pressure. Nav lights and taxi lights go on. Oh, I've got to scooch back so I can get to my pedals. We'll head to runway 5. I would do that, you stupid pedal. I'm having some very strong problems with brake axes. Hey Murph, how you doing? Why are you doing that? Why did they have to go and mess with it? It's the pedals. It's definitely the pedals. As you can see it twitching. It's somehow stuck. Been a significant point of consternation. See how that works. They went and messed with settings, man. I'll definitely try that, but so far I seem to have it working. So I'm gonna settle for that for right now. Boy, it wouldn't be a stream if there weren't issues. So we're gonna take off on runway 9 instead of 5 because of the winds. Okay, mixture full. Slowly add in the power. Knots, 50, 55, notch of flaps. The air is definitely alive today. Flaps coming up. Start. Turn out. Okay, we're going to set autopilot. So we're going to want nav mode. We want altitude mode on. We're going to set it for 6,500 because we're heading west and we're flying VFR. Like we've got everybody off the ground. We'll go ahead and activate the autopilot. Vertical speed, if you'll let me click on it, 500 feet per minute. Let me click on the thing. Arm nav mode. Get one last look over Kalamazoo. The important thing is as long as it keeps going, that's what's important. There goes the Air Zoo. East USA. South T hangars. Austin Lake. I think that's us. That might. Hey, probably help if I switch to GPS mode. Hey, Jim, how you doing? How'd your lesson go? Correct. My stomping grounds, man. The city of Portage. I used to work at this school right here. Yeah, I forgot to switch the nav mode here from nav to GPS. So that's my bad. somebody over there. Now you can see downtown Kalamazoo up here. This is Western Michigan University campus. Now you can hardly see through the cloud. That's U.S. Highway 131. We even have roundabouts. People still don't know how to use them. Why are those not working? Americans on roundabouts. No, it isn't. And they keep adding more, and people still don't know how to drive on them properly. I do. They're not hard to figure out, and the only reason why I hate seeing more and more roundabouts is the fact that Americans don't know how to drive on them. They can barely figure out a four-way stop, let alone a roundabout. Yep. Right on. Welcome along just the same. Yeah. Once you get through it, we should be looking pretty good. Hey, Bad Dog, how'd your lesson go? I'm sure Jim was an excellent teacher. Ooh, that's rough, Murph. Yeah, he's a good dude. We're still climbing to 6,500 feet. We're actually just about there. How about that? Alright, now that we've leveled off for cruise, we're gonna go to cruise power. Bringing the throttle to about 75%. So I think we'll kind of punch it up just a hair. So we'll set it about 2,400 RPMs. Look at the state of the clouds. Got one directly behind us. Now this sim never ceases to just make your jaw hit the floor. You know, this looks so good. Even with scattered clouds. Roger that. Where's I-94? I-94 is probably south of us by now. Yep. That's Paw Paw. Jim Oates with the host. Thank you, my kind sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Got a flyer down there low. Just all the lakes, everywhere. Yeah, and that's. I found that scattered clouds is like the perfect medium setting to having some really nice clouds, but still being able to see the ground. And when you get the lighting just right, oh, it just looks so good. It's a great setting. It's a nice balance because you get cloud layers. I mean, I could spend hours just trying to find and I like the SoFly preset settings. They're great, but sometimes just plain scattered clouds, perfect. Check my altimeter setting is 299 or 2. Yeah, I think my CTD was just a Windows security update thing. As annoying as that is, it always turns out to be that little thing. Oh, we got another little green light down there. And now we see Lake Michigan. Although I think we might increase to 8,500 feet just to get out of the cloud layer. 5. Go back to cruise or climb power. Oh, another one of the benefits of being at a higher altitude, especially going over a large body of water, it gives you the abilities that once you reach the midway point, or when you're at the midway point over the water, you'll be able to glide either to or from either shore, which is important if your engine goes out. Granted, in the sim, it's kind of a bit, you don't necessarily have to do it, but to do things kind of quote unquote by the book, you'd want enough altitude to glide safely to land. Look at that. Thanks, Windows, for telling me about an event that got canceled about a month ago. Yeah. And we will be flying just north of Chicago. In fact, Waukegan is just outside the Class B airspace, but just inside the Mode C veil. Which is kind of funny. Granted, in a realistic setting, Waukegan's at a point where you could fly under the Class B airspace and be fine. But it's just in that small margin, if you look at the charts, that small margin between being inside the Mode C veil but outside the Class B airspace. It's kind of funny. Or at least I find it kind of mildly humorous. We are heading to Kilo Uniform Golf November. Actually, it should be on the screen in the lower left-hand corner. Yeah, Uniform Golf November. Should be Waukegan International or Waukegan Regional. And here we have the shore of Lake Michigan. Hey, Keen, how you doing? Sounds like we're at altitude. Back down to 75% power. Well, we just took off from Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're heading over to Waukegan, Illinois. And from there, we're going up north to a small airfield that I can't remember the name of, on our way to Oshkosh. Having our own little simulated air venture of sorts. And for those inquiring, throttle is at 80%. My mixture control is at 76%. My altimeter setting is 2992 at 8,500, indicating a little under 95 knots. Not that far into it. We just crossed over on over Lake Michigan, just south of South Haven. Yep, 100%. I mean, there's a good reason why the Navy used it for training in World War II for carrier training, because it's so big. And there's still just tons of airplanes at the bottom of the lake that are slowly being. A lot of them are being recovered and restored and put into museums. But yeah, because the basic training post for the United States Navy is it's called Great Lakes Naval Station. It's just north of Chicago. So yeah, and as big as Lake Michigan is, Lake Superior is much bigger. It's not only, I think it's not just more surface area, but it's also more volume. It's a much deeper lake than Lake Michigan. Actually, and it's a lot more treacherous as well. I've yet to add flying over Lake Michigan in my IR or in real life list of things I've done, but at some point I'd love to add it. Yeah, only 22,000 square miles. Now look up Lake Superior. It's much more impressive and mind-boggling, especially when you consider just the sheer volume of water. Fun fact, the Great Lakes, all five of the Great Lakes consist of 21% of the world's surface freshwater by volume. And Lake Michigan is the second largest of the Great Lakes. Lake Michigan is 282 meters deep. Lake Superior is 406 meters deep. Lake Huron is 229 meters deep. Lake Erie is 64 meters deep. Well, that's good progress. I see what you did there, but that's good progress. Yeah, but the Great Lakes are just, I mean, they live up to the name of being great and lakes. But to be able to live near them is just Pretty cool. Look at the reflections on the wall. Oh wait, that might just be a cloud. I think that might be Allie down there. Ah, you're behind me. Well, there's somebody down real low and ahead of the game. Right down in there. I've got... That's Allie, and then I've got somebody back there. I swear there's like... Interesting. Let's check the old VFR map. So we're a little over halfway of this leg. This is the by far the longest leg that we're going to be on. And we still have, we're not even halfway over the lake. I don't like doing it while I'm flying. I can turn it on for landings, but I prefer to keep it off for the flight. Especially because we're going to be going over Chicago, and that's typically just riddled with nameplates. Yeah, and it'll get worse. Oh, we got someone catching up. $7 o'clock. Okay. Just the shadows on the clouds, the layering of the clouds. It's really neat. They really did a fantastic job. And I know eventually they'll get all the aircraft systems nailed down the way they should be. But they really nailed the visuals. We're getting there. We've got Midway, which is where we started our Route 66 adventure with Murphy last Friday. Although if I could make a Murph suggestion, is take a trip up the Lake Michigan coasts and do a tour of Chicago. That'd be kind of neat. Then you have Chicago O'Hare. I think this is Gary, Indiana. I'm not entirely sure which airport that is. That's Grand Rapids, Michigan. Kalamazoo, Michigan. Muskegon, Michigan is up here. This is Holland, Michigan. South Haven, Benton Harbor. Waukegan, Milwaukee's up here. That's in Wisconsin. Check in with the cockpit for a minute. See how we're doing. Let's see. We're about 40 miles out. Let's see. Let's go into... that's going to be... Go to nav. KUGN. That's the wrong one. UGN. Let's try that. Hey, that worked better. So, field elevation for Waukegan National is 727 feet. Well, we're gonna do this game. See if we can't get it to cooperate. So we're going to look for METAR. We want KUGN. Huh. Can someone on YouTube see if the chat's working over there? Ah, so something's broken with the YouTube connection. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try this. Let's go here, let's go here. Hey Ludwig. Kernel error. Kernel error. Okay. Settings. So it seems that the chat's disconnected from itself on YouTube, which is problematic. Well, that's annoying. I don't know what Murphy did to resolve that, but I'm making do as best as I can. I believe Twitch messages should get to me just fine. YouTube, on the other hand, is going to be a bit more complicated. We have someone passing us. Let's see. Yep, Twitch seems to be working just fine for comments or chat. Well, you're halfway through the hard part. So we want to drop to 2,500 over a course of time. That's about 2 minutes. At 500 feet a minute, that's 2 minutes per 1,000 feet. That's 6 minutes. So we're going to math. 500 feet. To open YouTube, keep you. Gotcha. All right. Well, this should be fun. Okay, so if I want to get to 2,500 feet, that's 6 minutes of descending at 500 feet a minute. This gets us to about 10 minutes out. We'll probably wait a bit. Wait about 5 minutes. And so now I have both chats up, so we should be good to go. So we're not going to change. We're not going to start our descent just yet. But it's getting close to that time. Whenever YouTube or Twitch update their API. Ah, gotcha. Todd. I don't know what that means. Time of descent? Yeah, I was just kind of eyeballing it, if I'm honest. Top of descent. That was close. I got 2 out of 3 words. Yeah, I guess we'll start our descent now then. Pull back on the throttle so as not to overspeed the aircraft. I have a distance of 23.3 nautical miles until we'll add or to the destination. Roger that, Scotland. This is by far the longest leg that we had. I'm at 7.6 right now. And there you can see Illinois and Wisconsin. Oh, there we go. Small sim stutter. That. Doesn't even seem like I'm flying over water. It just seems like I'm flying in infinite clouds. It's hard to say, Jim. I can't think of anything outside of FSX or basically all the Microsoft flight sims that have used it. I mean, Prepared doesn't really count because that's just a glorified, extremely expensive version of FSX that's been, updated and stuff. But beyond that, I mean, the engine itself kind of has some limitations from what I understand. I would imagine so. I don't know how to do an ILS approach, but yeah. I would have been kind of surprised if it couldn't. And I do believe that is Waukegan. So, given the winds, Let's see, 030, huh? And 030 winds. We're gonna go for runway 5. Oops. But we're going to go to heading mode. Yeah, we're going to runway 5. I've just turned to heading mode to be on a far, do a long base leg into runway 05. Power plant right there, I believe. Gonna set this. And go to send to pattern altitude. End of the runway there. Okay, we're going to turn to 320. Ish. Okay, we're gonna just go ahead and excuse me, disengage the autopilot. One notch a flap. Trimming down. Go ahead. 2 notch a flap. We'll go ahead and turn final. Ooh, she is bouncy. I am above the glide slope. There we go. There's on the glide slope. Very bouncy. Roll out. Throttle to idle. Pitch up for flare. Steady pressure on the yoke. Wait. Under 40. Flaps going up. Runway. Trying to clear the runway. Very smooth landing. A little bouncy, but good. That position. Up the speed again. We had somebody going the wrong way. Ooh. Did you even land or are you still flying? Because that was smooth. Yeah, right over those trees. It was nuts. Very nice. Very nicely done. Make sure we've got everybody. Like we've got one straggler. And we shall wait for Brian. Have his lights in sight. Nicely done, nicely done. Well done. Turn right when able. We're on that pad nearby. Ooh. A little rough, a little bounce. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Slow her down. Oh dear. There we go. Well, the important thing is you got it on the ground. Hey, Brazenhead. Yeah, a bit of a landing challenge. Or something to that effect. We are in Waukegan, Illinois. Currently, on our way to our next stop will be in lower Wisconsin. As I go ahead and set up for the next flight. So, I'm going to get in here. Oh, flight plan. Not what I go. We want Kilo. Romeo. Oh. Yankee. Victor. So we're going to Watertown Municipal in Watertown, Wisconsin. Kilo, Romeo, Yankee, Victor. Disable that. And given the winds in the game are different than the ones in the METAR, if I open up Navgraph, we're going to take off on 2-3 as opposed to 5, because apparently, well, let's see, what's the METAR? KUGN winds broken. Still not friendly. So let's take off. Let's head to runway 23 for departure. That's not the button I wanted. That's the button I wanted. So reduce parking brake, or release parking brake, I should say. Bit of power. Make sure that you have enough fuel. Don't mind me on the taxiway. I have some brake issues and brake calibration and sensitivity issues that I need to suss out. Go ahead and start rolling. We're here. Just walk right on through and mixture full. It's 40 knots, airspeed's alive. 50 knots. 55, notch of flaps going down. 60 knots. Rotate. We're up. .300 feet, flaps are going up. Turning on to course. Not going to use the autopilot this route because it's not very far. On second thought, maybe we will. We want to gonna set altitude at 2,500. And heading mode set course to 320. Altitude is set at 2,500 feet. We'll stay below the clouds, but Victor. Gosh, that's a nice feature. Super handy. So, welcome to Illinois. And not Chicago, Illinois, just regular Illinois. I hear somebody, but the seat's blocking them. Or so I thought. Okay, we set cruise power. Lights are on, everything's good. So I go back over here. So I'm looking for Kilo Romeo Yankee Victor. Kilo Romeo Victor. So again, it looks like we're looking at possibly runway 23. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Set your vertical speed. There you go. Welcome back. There you go. You can always rely on the Mooney. No. This one. Those guys on. And clear shield on a little bit. Back out. She is bouncy today. Illinois is kind of nice when you get outside of Chicago. Hello. It caught up in no time. The wonderful thing about that Mooney is if you're a little behind everyone else, it doesn't take much to catch up. So if we look at the VA, ooh, whole smattering of airports. Yep, close enough. Lots of nav points with the major airports in Chicago. It makes perfect sense. Well, hello. Ken W. What's Ken W? Ah, that's Kenosha. So we're past Kenosha. So we are officially in Wisconsin now. Bravo uniform is that way. Burlington is just off to this direction. Doing our diligence to stay below the cloud deck. I believe this is part of the toll road, but I could be wrong. Couldn't tell you what interstate or motorway that is. A little interchange there. Got our other friends on the Magenta line over yonder. Milwaukee's up this summit. I think that's Milwaukee right there. One up there, one there. We got some good flyers with us tonight. Ooh, uh-oh. I got a very dangerous email from Steam. A lot of things on sale. It's always dangerous when Steam has a sale. X-Plane 11 for $35. How about that? Let's see. Yeah, I'm to spawn on the kernel, but put me on the files. If you excuse me a minute, I have to step away. I will be right back. I will leave the camera right here. Interesting to see how this new update will, what kind of bugs it'll have, and because I'm sure that because if you're in the Mooney, or you guys are in the Mooney, and it's having an issue, I bet there's an update that Coronado will release here soon. They seem to be relatively on the ball. With keeping up with the updates. Hope everyone's having a wonderful evening. Yeah, I've noticed that. I actually noticed that before the update, because before you could get some real fine, it would go from 1 degree increments to 10 degree and to large jumps with the knobs, but it only goes in 10 degree increments now, and that's really frustrating because you can't dial it in very, very finely. Yeah, and I just think it's something they could stand to address. It works, but not as finely as it should. It was fine before, it was workable, but now it's just really kind of odd. I much preferred it the other way. It might, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I can see how people find excuse me, find the tooltips an annoyance, but I would almost rather keep those and be able to finely tune the gauges. But that's just me. It's like if you go in and you zoom in, they're not going to be that big of a deal. You know, you go in there or whatever. Whereas now I can't, finally tune a a gauge like I ought to be able to. I haven't had any issues with the autopilot yet. I know that as soon as I engage it, it definitely wants to nosedive. But as long as I pull back on the yoke and start adjusting the vertical speed, it levels out. It sorts itself out. It figures life out. But beyond that, but that's not even a new problem. That's been something that's been a thing for a while now. The control column. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I largely think that the sim's in a better state now than it's been in quite some time. Not to say that it's perfect though. And it's in saying that it's saying that purely as a factual statement, not a complaint. We knew that, those of us that have been here since the beginning know that it's still a work in progress. This thing's still going through a releasable build, but you put any piece of software to out of a beta state and into a much bigger audience, you're always going to find issues and find new find ideas that weren't thought of, and so on and so forth. So there's no such thing as a perfect piece of software, especially upon release. I don't know about Borg. Like I said, if you guys are in the Mooney, it might just be a Mooney issue that Coronado will address. And we're talking about a minor bug, like the dial issue. That's minor to me. The autopilot issue, it's an issue, but it's not like deal breaking for me. And like I said, if you're in the Mooney, that's not really an Asobo thing. That's Coronado will probably take note of it, fix it, and toss out an update here soon. So I think saying that it's a borked update is a bit of an extreme overstatement. It has bugs. I mean, it's gonna have bugs. No matter, you can work on a piece of software for 5 years, release it, and it's gonna. I mean, look at Bethesda. I mean, Bethesda is the shining example of there's no such thing as perfect software. And yet everybody loves, Fallouts and Skyrims, and it's not the rose-colored glasses, it's just perspective. I'm a bit of a pragmatist in general. But I like finding the silver lining in things and looking at things from a positive perspective. Because, they could have not released this at all. We could be, with X-Plane 11 that, looks like something out of the early 2000s. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure the systems are great and the systems modeling and this and that. But from what I'm given to understand, even X-Plane 11 had its issues. I don't know. I've never played X-Plane. I have no experience with X-Plane. So I can't so much as speak to X-Plane. FSX had issues. I do think that back in the day, especially when you talk about console gaming with like cartridge games, before the internet was a thing, you didn't get patches. What was out was there, so you had to get it right. That being said, there was always glitches, but you're talking about less complex games too, so it's all about the perspective and just realizing that it's there's issues. FSX 9%. Well, that just sound more manual flying sounds like more of a win to me, but that's me. That's half the fun of flying is controlling the airplane, in my opinion. I may be a bit biased. Yeah, and that's where your piloting skills really come into play, is when you have to fly it manually, and that's the bread and butter, in my opinion. Okay, I'm gonna turn due north so that I can catch the approach to runway 23. So don't be surprised if I turn north here in a second. Yeah, and it's just, again, it's all about the perspective. And, getting into perspective, this sim's only been out, 3 months? August, September, October, yeah, so 3 months. And they're planning on developing it, making it better for the next 10 years? So we're at the opening stages of this thing. I'm excited for what they do in the future. The best we can do is just understand that there's going to be issues that pop up along the way. There's going to be bugs. There's going to be critical bugs from time to time. It's just the nature of software development. There's no such thing as perfect software. We can sit here and bench quarterback all we want and be hypercritical, but that really doesn't get us anywhere. It's not constructive. Well, if it came out August 18th, and it's the 29th of October, so I'd say that's 3 months. Well, okay, 2 months. It seems longer than that, but either way, it's not been out that long. The bottom line, it's not been out very long. So it's going to have its growing pains. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, there's so many good things. There's so many good things that are becoming from the third party developers, and I'm sure Asobo themselves are gonna, you know, kind of they're still kind of learning it themselves. For now, I agree 100%. But at the same time, that's not a bad thing because the Sims previously, like X-Plane and even FSX, and it was more geared. I mean, the Microsoft Flight Sims have, at least since like Flight Sim 98 or whatever, or at least since the first version of X-Plane, have been more geared. They've both been more geared towards flying mechanics, less about the visuals. Microsoft always kind of leaning more towards having the visual fidelity, and X-Plane was more geared towards systems. Oh, we're at the airport. So autopilot's coming off. It'll let me. And I was really excited for this, but the fact of the matter is, X-Plane, yeah, the systems are there and it's great, but the visual fidelity isn't the same, especially out of the box. But the deck has always been stacked against General Aviation and VFR flying. There has not been an out of the box flight sim that's as detailed as this is, that's so friendly to VFR pilots like myself. I don't do instrument. I don't know. Hey Jepson, how you doing? That's awesome. Yeah, the funny part of it is we used the V1 in my stream the other night. And as soon as I got finished and I was scrolling through Murphy's Discord, wouldn't you know it, you released V2. So that's a little bit of funny. A little bit of a slip here. I may have to go around. Yeah, we're going around. So yeah, it's just, the sim is young. It'll get better. It'll mature. So we have to temper our expectations. That's, as the consumer, that is our responsibility, is to temper our expectations and let the developer do their job and develop the game, because that's what they're dedicated to doing. They're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna goof up here and there, but that's just the way it is. It's our job to be patient and let them do their thing. And provide constructive feedback. Because if we do nothing but harp on them and berate them, that's going to damage their morale, and when their morale's low, they're not going to put out the greatest of products. But constructive criticism is vital, because they need to know where they need to improve. They need to know where, what simmers really want. And the best way to do that is to provide constructive criticism. The Moeni, Mueni. Yeah, a couple of the guys, they were having some issues with some knobs, but I think that's a Coronado. They'll patch that soon. I mean, I wasn't expecting the patch to come out until Saturday, and it came out today. So I'll give Coronado a couple of days and they'll fix it. Ooh. Yeah, and that being said, it's a third party piece of software. So, those aren't, those are that's not even a Sobo's fault. Sobo's trying to better the sim. It's Coronado's job to adapt to that. And so patience. Must have patience. Oh dear, I'm not going to be able to see anything. That's fair. I'll grant that. Far on base. Catbat, we are at Kilo Romeo Yankee Victor. Well, there's no feeling free. I'm free to do that anyway. But, you know, your definition of borked and my definition of borked are two different things, and we'll just have to agree to disagree. That's fine. The only bug that I've heard about is the issue with the Mooney, and that apparently constitutes a borked update. It, I mean, is what it is. Okay, where is the... Alright. So we'll get in the... cat that alley in Scotland down in the grass. See Brian, I see Bad Dog, I see War Hamster, I see somebody behind War Hamster, but I can't read the name tag. See, I think one setting that people are forgetting to look at is there's a UI scaling slider that adjusts even the size of the name tags. That's about it. Fly Darren, I see him. Canadian Taz. Nendile, thank you for the follow. I do appreciate it. Nice job, Bad Dog. Doing about face and we watch War Hamster with a low approach, skimming the trees. Checked out the AC on that building. Very nice. Good job, War Hamster. Well, I'm here to help and sometimes to mispronounce things. Ooh. And that's a Navy landing. Oh dear. Fly, Darren. What do we got here? Who do we got here? I can't see the name tag. The name tag's not loading. Bodip. Very well done. And it seems that Brian has gone around. Unless I missed him. Oh, there's Brian there. Wait. I missed it. Hey, G-Slayer, how you doing? In fairness about the UI scale, it's something I saw once, fixed it, and then forgot about it until now. Or, until I started flying this time. But it makes, even the name tags, it makes them smaller. Which is, awesome. Stupid Flanders 1. Tanya, the names that people come up with. Good to hear. Good to hear. Is that everybody? Dangerous Brian's down. Bad Dog. Scotland. Alley Cats. Got Warhamster. We got Butt-Up. We have Catback. We have Canadian Taz. I do believe we are waiting for the one and only Two-Tone Murphy. Which is fine because I have some flight parameters to set up. Hello, Catbat. I am doing well. I hope you are well. Okay, so that's done. So we're going to Oshkosh, which is Kilo Oscar Sierra Hotel. And we're just I'm gonna put it out there and say we're going to land on runway 36. We have a leg because we have to come from here to the Oshkosh Kilo Oscar Sierra Hotel. H Romeo Yankee Victor 2 Kilo Oscar Sierra Hotel. Yes, you need your flying mustache. I mustache you a question. And Oh. Yes, but the wonderful thing is, despite the spelling, I still know what you meant. That's set. Get back in le cockpit, as the French would say. Go into here, and we will go to Kilo Oscar Sierra Hotel, Whitman Regional, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. There you go. So, enter. That screen off. That is 50 nautical miles from here. We will expect runway 36. 36? Is that right? Yes, 36. One of the more iconic approaches. Probably the most, because that is the main runway. And where the air show really has all their, shows. Let's see. That's good. That's good. That's good. Reset trim. That back on. Sim toolkit's good to go. Live map. Yeah, I mean, I haven't flown it, but apparently there are some issues with the knobs, CDI. So, if everyone's ready, we will make our way to runway 23. So, Bad Dog, if you want to go ahead and take off and stay in the pattern while the rest of us get up, feel free. Forty knots, airspeed's alive. 40, 50 knots. 55, flap, notch flaps down. 60, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. And that's 300 feet. Flaps are going up. Turn on course. And this time we will again use the autopilot. We're going to 3,500 feet because we're technically going to be going more east than, or we're going to be going in a slightly easterly direction. Nah, it's up, you see? I can't see it from the cockpit, so it must be up. So we autopilot on, vertical speed. Our nav mode. Go out of the cockpit. Well, you'll pardon my quick turning of the traffic labels back off. Let's see, coverage, bottom. Put it up. Let's make it a little easier to see, shall we? So we have our autopilot set to 3,500 feet. We are on a course at roughly 12012 degrees. We are climbing at 500 feet per minute. I'm going to adjust our mixture for altitude. What's really nice is running Sim Toolkit Pro, I can see anyone else on the live map. I can see other people that are running Sim Toolkit Pro. So I can see USAPR1 in free flight at 2,029 feet at about 96 knots with a heading of 011 degrees. Sim Toolkit Pro. It's a handy little tool. It's basically a different version of Little Nav Map that I think has a much better UI. It still gives you plenty of ability to do things. A lot of people like Little Nav Map, and that's fine. I just don't understand how to use it, and it just has too much going on. Sim Toolkit Pro is being developed by one guy, but it has a lot of very useful things on it. And there's Allison Johnson on the Little Nav Map, or Sim Toolkit Pro. Call sign Golf Alpha Lima Yankee Juliet 6. I don't currently see you, Murphy. And as useful as Sim Toolkit Pro is, I expected it to be payware, and it's for free, so bonus. Apparently, Murphy is operating a stealth aircraft. I didn't know Moonies came in that, but apparently it works. It must have cut off one of the numbers. I apologize. It's the Stealth Mooney. They wanted to develop a stealth... Oh, that's me. They wanted to develop a stealth fast transport for VIPs. But one of the best things about the Sim Toolkit Pro is not only it has flight planning, connects with SimBrief, you can have a couple of tabs down at the bottom, like I have Navigraph, I have SkyVector. You can get instant access to METARs. Plus, for streamers, I can type this in the chat. Instant METAR. That not work? Did I type it wrong? Or is it taking a minute? Well, usually it lets you get METARs. Or at least in the chat. They'll just do it the hard way. See, and this is what the community is all about, is people helping each other. And that's what I love. Is just everybody's willing to help one another, and you know, with settings and learning how to fly and all that, and it's just great fun. I really enjoy that. Years of training. See, that quote just made me instantly think of Toy Story, and years of academy training wasted. Buzz Lightyear, voiced by Tim Allen. Quite possibly. I think there might be some system issues. That's entirely possible. It's not perfect, but they do a pretty good job. So, I do. I get this one straight from Noah. the National Oceanic National Weather Service, National Oceanic and Aviation Administration, Atmospheric. Words are hard. National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, which probably doesn't really. That's a U.S. government operation. We need to go to. We're on rental power, so we just moved back to owner power. I just slowed down for everybody. I forgot that I was at rental power or climb power. See, and another wonderful thing is with Sim Toolkit Pro for streamers is all this information at the bottom, this little moving map to the left, and all this other information is coming from Sim Toolkit. And you get landing reports and all kinds of fun stuff. It's really a really handy tool. Well, hello. We have Oshkosh in sight. This is Fond du Lac. This is Lake Winnebago. I've dialed back the power, so if you want to catch up, I can slow down a bit more if you'd like. In fact, I might just do that anyway. I see all the fireflies in the distance. And then I'm guessing this is Warhamster, the chief formation pilot. And what's really nice about what they've done with Oshkosh is they made it photogrammetry. Because it's that important of an area to General Aviation. Or at least I think if I remember correctly, it's photogrammetry. Could be wrong. Could be being very silly and misleading. We are going for runway 36, the straight in approach. In fact, it looks like we got somebody overflying the airfield now, but there it is right there. It's the big runway. And see, all of my fans in Wisconsin. That's them right there. No, the Coronado 172 is not for Microsoft Flight Simulators for FSX or X-Plane. This is the default Microsoft Flight Simulator Cessna 172 Classic, available in either the Deluxe or Premium Deluxe editions. Although I do have the Coronado 172N for FSX, and I do enjoy it quite a bit. So I remembered correctly. Huzzah. Yeah, see, we've got everybody caught up. Do I know how to pick the time of day, or do I know how to pick the time of day? That's correct. Although I am under the understanding, and English is a weird language sometimes. I have the understanding that Coronado intend to go through their whole library of aircraft and move them over to Microsoft Flight Simulator. At least that is my current understanding. That's subject to change without my notice. Yeah, it must have been a bolt loose or something. I'll get the mechanics to sort it out. Seven more minutes. Yeah, the 182, it's nice. I'm kind of hoping. It seemed like they were having some issues with it, just because it doesn't use the stock G1000 system. Um, it'd be nice if it did. I think it would make it mesh better with the default aircraft, because right now it's a beautiful looking airplane, and having the clickable options in the cockpit is just, it's great. But minor things. Okay, Oshkosh field elevation is 8,000. Yeah, boy, 808 feet. We're coming in to land at runway 36. So I'm going to go ahead and step off of nav mode. I'm going to adjust to 030, or as close to it as I can get. Heading mode. Yeah, I can imagine so. And please, if I am about to ruin your approach, I do apologize. But kind of like Murph, I kind of like to try to be the first one down to record everyone's landings best as I can. Outside of the weather conditions, I'm not having that issue. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and turn the autopilot off. Start our descent. Trim up. At 2,000 RPM. We're currently showing high on the glide slope, which is perfectly explainable. Gonna reduce throttle even more. Trim up so that we can lose some speed. And we'll just pull back on the yoke pad. And white arc. Flap coming down. We'll add 2 for good measure. I'll go ahead and reduce power to 1500 RPMs. Now see, here's the real fun of this runway. I can land midfield, and it would be accurate during air venture because they have 3 spots on the runway for landings. So you can have 3 planes simultaneously landing on the one main runway. And they also use this taxiway as a temporary runway during the event. I hate running back and I had to walk my dog and change my phone. How much longer? After this, it's probably going to be the end of the stream for me. Although if the folks over that are chatting on the Discord end up flying a bit more, that'll be there. once I'm off of here, I will be getting something to eat, and I'll be getting off, pardon me, gas. I will be ending the stream shortly after recording everyone's landing, more than likely. Murphy's listening to country music on his way down and getting the full authentic horse riding experience. So I will go for a further out landing spot, probably at the intersection of this taxiway, so as not to interfere with somebody else's approach. Now, supposedly, they made some improvements to Oshkosh with the latest patch, but I can neither confirm nor deny what the changes were exactly. Roll out. That was 111 feet per minute. Whoa. Throttle back up. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Unfortunately, you caught me towards the end of my stream. I usually stream about 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. But I do appreciate you stopping by regardless. Feel free to throw a follow and you'll get notified when I go online next. I stream Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And occasionally Fridays and Saturdays. So I'm going to get in here. But you're all welcome along, regardless. Like I said, I do appreciate you stopping by. I need to turn on. Oh. Get to the end of the runway. Alright. Who do we have down already? We have Alley Cats down. We have Botip down. Self. We have Catbat out in the distance. Scotland. See Canadian Taz, Bad Dog, War Hamster, the one and only Two-Tone Murphy, USA PR1, and Dangerous Brian, all inbound to land on runway 36 at Whitman Regional Airport in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Who do we have first? It looks like War Hamster's on the path of final approach. with touchdown coming in the golden hour. And we finally have touchdown. Very well done. Hopefully we make it in time to catch Canadian Taz's landing. Smooth. The one and only two-tone Murphy. Very nicely done. USA PR1 next in for landing. And touchdown. Very nice. We have next, it looks like it's Scotland 737 inbound. Nicely done. Next up is Cap at 9. Nicely done. Next up is Bad Dog. Doing well, doing well. Nice stable approach so far. Nicely done. Good job, Bad Dog. And we will wait around for Brian. In the meantime, we're going to check out Whitman Regional Airport. So throughout this grass area right here are airplanes that are parked, and typically I have people camping next to them in a lot of ways. Right here, no. Over here is where they have all the ultralights, and they use this section for their own little grass runway. And all this is just more airplane parking. Although that looks like they use it for a grass field. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely certain. So they have the ultralights over here, and I believe also some RC remote control airplanes. This right here is all not parking. Well, it could be some of it's parking, a lot of it's camping. Parking's out here. They have shuttles because you really wouldn't want to walk all of this way, but there's just so much camping acreage to be done. This is a grocery store that you can get food at during your stay. Here's where they have what's called the Fly Mart, which if you've heard of a flea market, this is just an aviation version of that. This is a lot of the vendors here. Microsoft typically has their booth in one of these big hangars, which they don't quite look like that, but that's being, whatever. But a lot of vendors are here. This is the world's busiest control tower for the week of Oshkosh. Let's go check in on Brian. Still coming. We have more workshops, vendors in this area. Ooh, what is that? Can't tell what that is. But it's an airplane baked into the scenery. And this right here is a lot more parking. I mean, there's aircraft everywhere, and a lot of this area is also spectator area for watching the air shows. More workshop areas over here, and more camping. The Warbird area is right about in this section. This is where they have like the Mustangs and the Corsairs and all the Warbirds. They typically use this runway or these cross runways for parking. A lot of the jets are usually parked in this area just because they can't necessarily sit on the grass. As you can see, that kind of they use this taxiway for a secondary runway for landing and taking off the masses of aircraft that are in and out throughout the duration of AirVenture. This section down at the end of the runway over here is where all the Bonanza people park and the Beechcraft. Well, we'll watch them too. We will definitely give them a watch because that's how we do things. I think this is a cemetery. This isn't part of the AirVenture. Over here we have the EAA Museum, and they have their own airport. Nice grass strip, and this is you can see things like Ford Trimotor, Curtis Jennings, really old vintage aircraft will take in or use this as an airfield. See EAA, but that's the museum. It's Pioneer Field, I believe. That's the Eagle Hangar. You're on final. All right. We're going to catch up with Brian. So far, I'm only seeing Brian. I don't see anybody behind him. But we'll give him a minute. And here we have Dangerous Brian. Beautiful landing, Brian. Beautiful landing. I don't see anybody else on the radar. I can't believe that's not butter. Yeah, Brian, I'm not sure where those other four went, but I don't see them. So we'll just take a quick tour over here, the last part of the tour, while Brian gets parked up. They actually do have some historical reenactors that come out for the Warbird area. So I haven't really paid attention to them because the last time that I went to Oshkosh, I wasn't into World War II reenacting, and now I am. So, yeah. Now over here, loosely modeled, is the terminal building and the main parking lot. I usually end up parking way over here and then catching the shuttle to the main event from over here. Now see, this is where we can start planning for the Two-Tone Murphy meetup at AirVenture in 2022. Because there's plenty of shops and restaurants and greasy spoons and strip malls, and there's all kinds of stuff to do right in close proximity to the airport. Oh, I'll post some on the I think I've posted a few on Murphy's Discord, but I can definitely post some more. But there's all kinds of things to do just in the vicinity of the Oshkosh airport during the event, so you can stay at a hotel and get groceries and be there for the whole week and have a nice time. Let's see. Strip mall is a shopping center for those. Aha! Thank you, my good sir, for the terminology translation. That's a lot of lights. That's a lot of lights. So yeah, that being said, do appreciate everybody stopping by this evening and joining me on this trip. It's been a lot of fun. It's always nice to fly into Oshkosh and kind of get a preview of going there in person. But until next time, we'll catch you on the Discord. Let's see, Discord. And until the next time, be good to each other. Stay safe out there. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.